It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Monday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 19th day of August 2024, coming to you from a soggy, wet, rainy, and cold Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve this morning. As you can tell, I'm in my stateroom, and there's some good reasons for that. One, I need to stay close where I can get my feet propped up as much as possible today, as many of you that travel at my age have problems with your feet swelling. Well, I have problems with that all the time. But yesterday, they just went up more so than normal to the point of being painful, which I've never had before. So while I'm cruising, I try not to take my water pill that I take in the mornings, because those of you that have to take any kind of diuretic know what that does to you. So when I'm on a cruise, I hate running to the John every 5 minutes, but that's what it does to me. Today I took one to help get the swelling in my feet down a little. I am not going to do a whole lot today. If it was a nice day in Glacier Bay, yeah, I'd probably go outside and try to shoot some pictures. But since it's cold, rainy, and it's not going to happen, so I'll take some me time here today, which I took me time yesterday as well. I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to have to make some more changes, alterations to the schedule for the next time I have to do any West Coast or Alaska cruises, because getting up at 2:00 in the morning to start researching the show so I can go live here at, your 11 o'clock at home, which is 7 a.m. ship's time. And it just ruined, I can't do anything at night. So, I have dinner and go to bed, So I got to tweak the schedule a little bit for the next time I'm in the Pacific. So, all right. So today's show is brought to you once again by our friends at MSC Cruises and Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround. We do have some headlines today that not a whole lot of news, folks. And that's the sad part. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to write and put together what is in the news today, but I still have to check all the sources. So it takes just as long as if I had 20 stories this morning. Of course, the lead story is going to be a Monday weather update in both the Atlantic and the Pacific now. Also today, Carnival ship to sail without some of the benefits. Cruise line discourages comedy club. And ships redirected in Amsterdam once again. And lots more here live at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is 7 a.m. ship's time. Today, folks, is National Soft Ice Cream Day. I don't mind ice cream. I don't eat it very much. Because believe it or not, for being a big fat guy, I somewhat watch my intake of sugars. So I'll eat some ice cream, but I don't eat a lot. If you're listening to the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right, a couple things to do before we actually get into the show today. Elizabeth, the lovely Elizabeth, was in Barcelona again, and she had the Breakfast of Champions, and then went to her favorite Indian restaurant, and I could never pronounce what she's eating. But this is pretty much a staple stop for Elizabeth. Now, meanwhile, I was playing with the hookers. Well, I was in a brothel. I went to the Red Onion Saloon and had a drink, an adult beverage. I didn't eat there, but the food looks good. And people said they have the best pizza in the world, which would have been interesting if I got a pizza. But anyway, I didn't do that. It was so much fun, and as much trouble as I have with Red Dog Saloon, who keeps trying to make me get in a chair, and then they'll park my wheelchair outside, and I say, yeah, no, you won't. That's happened twice there. These people rolled out the red carpet for me and moved all kinds of stuff around to make room for me in the chair. It was absolutely terrific. For those of you that don't know about the Red Dog Saloon, back in the 1830s in the gold rush, it was actually a brothel. And you can go upstairs still to this day for a $20 quickie. Of course, that's a quick tour of the brothel upstairs. But they have all the old pictures on the wall and stuff. It's really a cool place to go. If you're ever in Skagway, Alaska, make sure that's on your agenda. All right. Let's get on with what little bit of news and stuff we have after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, guys, we got to start off with the weather again. Ernesto has actually gained some strength. Kind of wasn't expecting that. Ernesto strengthening a little more. Dangerous beach conditions continue along the east coast of the United States and Atlantic Canada through early this week. As of, I believe it was 5 o'clock this morning, that was 5 o'clock my time, so that would have been 9 o'clock back at home. It was about 340 miles south-southeast of Halifax, Nova Scotia, 580 miles southwest of Cape Race, Newfoundland. Sustained winds are 85 miles an hour. It's moving north-northeast at 21. The pressure is steady at 972. So, this could still wreak a little havoc. As far as the messages go, even though Ernesto is forecast to remain well offshore the U.S. East Coast, swells generated by the hurricane will continue to affect the area through the early part of this week. Beachgoers should be aware that there is a significant risk of life-threatening surf and rip currents and should stay out of the water if advised by lifeguards. Surf and rip currents are also possible in the Bahamas, Bermuda, and Atlantic Canada during the next few days. Ernesto will likely bring wind, wave, and rain impacts to portions of southeastern Newfoundland tonight and into Tuesday morning. Breaking waves could bring the possibility of coastal flooding, particularly along the southwest-facing shorelines of Bermuda east to Avalon regions. So, it still can do some damage up there. The forecast is actually very little change for today, and then a weakening trend is expected to begin tonight as it continues getting norther into cooler waters. Ernesto is expected to lose tropical characteristics during the next day or so. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 35 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend about 220 miles. So it's still a pretty good sized storm. All right, so all you guys up in Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland, batten down the hatches. This could give you a hard time, folks, even that far north. All right, we have to look at the Pacific today. There's actually 3 storms in the Pacific, only one of note. And the interesting thing about the Pacific storms is they're all going away from land right now, so they're not really a threat to land in the Pacific. But Gilma, tropical storm Gilma, is strengthening. Currently, she is located about 625 miles south-southwest of the southern tip of Baja California, 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds, moving west at 13 miles an hour. Central pressure is 1,000 and dropping. It's going to nowhere. So the other 2 storms to the west of that are not really worth mentioning. They're there. But they're not going to do anything and not cause any trouble. They're just out in the middle of the water. The center of tropical storm Gilma will make a slightly slower westward to west-northwestward motion during the next few days. Gilma's forecast remains well away from land. Of today's show. Today's feature cruise is part of a flash sale that's good until August 9th. It's a 5-day, 4-night Bahamas cruise starting at $199. Goes from Port Canaveral, Florida, has an overnight at Ocean Key and a stop in Nassau on the MSC Seashore. Sales on September the 8th, 5 days and 4 nights. Rates are part of the flash sale, but they do include all taxes and port charges based on 2 adults per cabin. The interior Bella prices $398 per cabin. That's $199 per person. Ocean views $560 per cabin. That's $280 per person. Balcony is $700 per cabin or $350 per person. If you're solos start at $329 or $569 with the drinks package. Just give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll get you hooked up on the Seashore, September the 8th. There are other dates available as well. All right, thanks to MSC for that one. Okay, so the next story this morning comes from our friends at Carnival. Carnival Cruise Line has issued an advisory to its diamond and platinum level guests sailing on Carnival Splendor that sails on August 24th. The adjustments are in response to an unusually high number of very important fun person guests booked on the voyage. That's a loyalty program for Carnival. The cruise line will not be able to offer priority embarkation or debarkation during the 16-night cruise from Singapore to Sydney, including at any of the ports of call, which include Jakarta, Lombok, Indonesia, and Darwin, Arley Beach, and Moreton, Australia. The cruise line has also indicated that diamond guests may not have guaranteed access to main dining room seating. What? Additionally, staterooms will not be available until after 1:30 on the day of embarkation. Once on board, guests are encouraged to drop off the carry-on luggage in their staterooms before proceeding to lunch. That kind of sucks for your loyal folks. It looks like a little poor planning to me. Hi, this is also from Carnival. All experienced cruisers know that Carnival Cruise Line is one of the top choices if you enjoy comedy acts on board at the signature Punchliner Comedy Club, which offers multiple shows and often multiple comedians on every sailing. These shows are not for everyone, however, and after regular complaints about comedy content, the cruise line has made an official request for some guests to just stay away. Each week, brand ambassador John Hield responds to hundreds of questions, comments, and suggestions from guests and Carnival fans through his popular Facebook page. The subject of the punchline or comedy comes up regularly. Every week, every single week, in the hundreds of questions that I answer, I always have somebody who writes in and is not happy with the material the comedians use. Don't like the fact that an R-rated show is R-rated, he'll explain. All of that kind of thing I understand and I respect. However, the one thing that absolutely drives me crazy is if you think you're going to be offended, if you're not 100% certain you're going to enjoy the show, don't go. In a video filmed in the punch ladder aboard the XL class Mardi Gras, Hield was pointing out that in the front row and even the first few rows of chairs, he noted that guests should not choose such visible prime seating if they aren't sure whether or not the comedic material would be right for them. Instead, he recommends that uncertain comedy show guests should choose seats closer to the back so you can escape a lot quicker. That way, if they find the show that does not appeal to them, they will be more easy to leave without disturbing others and attracting unwanted attention. I'm surprised that John said that in that way, but I totally agree with it. One of the things that just bugs the crap out of me when you're in a show, number one, I hate anybody that comes in late. You know, if you can't get to the show on time, wait till the next show. Don't come in and go walking around looking for a place to sit or stand in front of people that are already there. And especially don't talk. I hate that. And then people getting up and leaving. I understand, you know, if you have to get up and go to the restroom or something. I mean, I understand that that's a necessity. We've got to try to keep it limited and not up and down and up and down. And up and down. Oh, man. Anyway, surprised John said that, but I agree with you. Okay, so we've talked several times now about the situation in Amsterdam. Ambassador Cruise Line made the decision to reroute the Ambition to the port of Bermuda for its visit to Amsterdam yesterday in response to anticipated protests by environmental group Extinction Rebellion. The affected ship, which departed from Edinburgh tonight voyage on the 15th of August, carrying about 1,200 passengers. It also is going to Antwerp, Belgium, before concluding in Newcastle, England, on the 21st. Meanwhile, Extinction Rebellion causing disruption blocking seas from entering Amsterdam. The activists attached themselves to two harbor locks in Amugen, a key entry point for the shipping traffic from North Sea to Amsterdam. This action prevented the ship from accessing the port. An oil tanker was also stopped as a result of the blockade. The actions come just a week after similar protests affected cruises operated by Royal Caribbean and Regent Seven Seas. I'm sorry, folks. I think we're just going to have to continue to stop going to Amsterdam. Just set the cruises up and go to Amugen and run buses into Amsterdam instead of letting these protesters win. And I'm not getting into the political thing. Are the protesters right or wrong? Are they right on their beliefs or wrong on their beliefs? And I'm not touching that. But still, you've got the cruise lines have a business that they're trying to run and trying to keep guests happy. So rather than putting them through the turmoil, just set it up to avoid the protest. I think Ambassador did a good thing by proactively attacking this. So, all right, that's again, folks. It was a very slow news day, especially for a Monday. Usually Mondays are busy. Of course, I did do a show on Saturday that took some of the stuff that I would carry over to Monday. All right, let's go see who's in the chat room. We give a view of Glacier Bay in this episode. I have a live view on the television, and I can see land vaguely off in the distance, and it is pouring rain. Earlier, I did see a couple whales breach, which was pretty cool, but that's, again, was off at enough of a distance that you don't get a good look at it. But yeah, no, I'm not going to be, I doubt that I'll even go outside today. I won't stay in the stateroom all day, but like I'll probably take an hour or so after the show and prop my feet up again. It's pretty miserable. I will go and eat and stuff, but I'm not probably going to do a whole lot more. Anyway, so no hot air. We're not giving you any views of Glacier Bay. Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Katie's here. I'm early to the chat. You are, Katie. That's awesome. Of course, you don't have kids back in school yet, do you? Katie says good morning to everybody. Joanne's with us up in Pennsylvania. Hot Air says, I was even thinking of taking a double water pill to help with swelling. Well, that's the problem. If you take two, man, then you really run. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just plan to spend all afternoon here and take another one. But yeah, man, it's wicked. Bob's with us. Have a good day, all. There's Sonny down in Mississippi. I had a couple of Sonny that was from can't remember the name of the town now, just south of Memphis in Mississippi that ate dinner with us last night, with Gary and I last night. Had a couple from Mississippi and a couple from Wisconsin last night. It was interesting. Great chat at the table. Really interesting, folks. Katie says, I am frozen. I am frozen? The signal froze up? Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Hey, Steve. There's Mike. Says good morning to everybody. Todd says, had so much fun at the Red Onion. That was terrific. I got lots of laughs. And I'll tell you the amazing thing about it. I drink good bourbon. I don't drink cheap bourbon. Now, they had a local bourbon that they wanted me to try, and I said, no. I saw a bottle of Knob Creek. I said, let's do Knob Creek, because that's a good bourbon. And I drink Knob Creeks at times on the cruise ships too. So I had Knob Creek, and it was a nicely mixed drink. I'm tasting it, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty good. It's probably $15-16 in a place like that. I would have thought nothing of it. So when I got the check, $9.40, I said, holy hell, I ought to live here. So, yeah, that was fun. There's Roger up in Jacksonville. Hi, Roger. Norwegian embarkation, 73 hours away. Getting close. I guess Chillie's Wi-Fi comes and goes. That's probably due to weather, Katie, because it is just pour. It's teeming rain right now. When you are traveling, do the show at 4 or later p.m. Yeah, that's a possibility. Cut way back on the salt. I use no salt. That only salt. I mean, it's what's normally in the food. I never touch a salt shaker. Unfortunately, I drink my Diet Cokes, and those are high in sodium. I understand that. But I do drink some water, plenty of water. Not plenty. Probably need to drink more. And when I have my Bloody Marys in the morning, they do salt the rim of the glass here. So that's a little salt. But yeah, I know, Joanne, that's one thing I could do. Got to do something. This is way worse than I've ever had it before when I'm on a cruise. So, and maybe I just have to keep taking my diuretic in the morning and just put up with the, 4 or 5 hours of running to the John. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, tomorrow is a sea day, so we'll do another show there. And then on Wednesday, day, and we're going to Anchorage tonight. So Wednesday morning probably, and then Thursday there'll be no show this week. Is that I'll be on an airplane all day. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up for today. I see now the signal is starting to blink off, and that's got to be weather related because it is. You can't see, you can't see very far off the bow right now. It's raining so hard. Hot Air says, bye, everyone. I'm off to a funeral for one of our employees whose wife died of the big C. Sorry about that, Hot Air. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, smash that thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. Doesn't cost you anything. That helps the channel out a bunch. The bell notification lets you know when I go live or when a new video is posted. And I've got tons of videos to post. I just haven't had the time to do it. So, all right, guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. You guys have a great day. I'll see everybody back here same time, same channel tomorrow morning. See you later. Bye, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.